to Horror Hour.
We all go a little mad sometimes. Get you.
Here's Johnny.
All right. Hello and welcome to the Horror Hour, place we discuss, we debate, we disagree on all things horror. I'm one of the hosts here, Yutaka. Hello. And today I'm really excited because if you haven't seen, we've been talking a lot about Terrifier 2. So I'm really excited to welcome Amelie Mclaine. How are you today?
Hey everyone, I am great. Thank you for asking.
So I think Terrifier 2 kind of took the world by storm. And I think one of the great things about it, though, is your appearance as the little pale girl. What? No one saw that coming.
Yes, exactly.
So I guess what was it like first when you read that for that role? What made you go, yeah, I want to play this?
Well, I love all the freedom that I have with this role. It's not like any other role. There's no lines. It's all facial expressions, which is kind of what made me want to play the little pale girl, because I could just go every which direction, play this role however I wanted to. And that's like the fun of this whole thing, is just, playing the role how I want to and playing the role for myself.
I mean, that's really amazing because one of the things that I think is so great, same thing with David's performance, the fact that you don't have any lines, but you're able to emote such a performance, but also the comedic elements. There are just sometimes, the kitchen scene when you're just like looking up, I'm like, it was funny and I enjoyed that. So what was it like being on set and working with David?
David is like the most fun person to work with, and I could not have done it without him. Even from the beginning, like, I wasn't sure what to do with my facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just sit and I would just watch him from the sidelines and just try to mimic him. And he really, truly wanted to help me and wanted the best for me. And even when we were filming, like, we had such a great time playing off each other. And like with the possum scene, we had so much fun with the possum cuts and everything.
That scene got me. That I was, again, I know it's a horror film, but I also think this is a really comedic. I mean, the comedy in this is great, but that scene it makes me laugh again because you see both of your facial expressions and, there's Jonathan in terror, but I really enjoyed that.
That was such a fun one to film. I agree with you.
How much time did it take to then get into the makeup and everything?
It took about 3 hours to get in makeup and like about 2.5 to get out of it.
Oh, wow.
With the contacts and my hair had to get all teased up, and my dentures, my makeup. It took a very long time. And like a lot of people would not think about the process of taking it all off, but that was a big process too. At the end of the night, I didn't just go home. Like, I had to get my hair all combed down, everything like that. And sometimes the contacts would take a long time to put in, and other days it would take like 5 minutes. So yeah.
Oh, wow. You're right. I never would have thought almost 2 hours to get out of that.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So I guess then the other thing too is, have you got to see the film with audiences?
Yes, multiple times.
And what's that experience like?
It's so fun, like, hearing everybody react to all the different scenes. And it was super fun to go see it for the first time in New York City with the whole cast. That was so fun. That was my first time, and it was so fun, and everybody was just having such a great time, and we were all laughing, and it was just such a great experience.
I love that, and I think that's awesome because I remember when it first came out, I was, so excited to see it. I've probably seen this film, and yeah, we've hit double digits at this point. but I really loved how each weekend, like just the word of mouth, and just everybody praising the cast. And it just, I mean, it really did a number for independent horror. You guys killed it.
Yes, I was not expecting it to blow up like it did, but I'm just so grateful that it did. And I'm grateful that everybody enjoys it because we put a lot of effort into it.
Speaking of filming, then, like, how long was the filming process?
Well, I live in North Carolina and we filmed up in like New York and Philadelphia and New Jersey. So it was pretty hard to like I would fly from New York. I mean, from North Carolina to New York and then back like multiple times. I would film a scene and then come back, and then about a month later I would go and film another scene. So that was like a very big process, like,
Okay.
flying and just a short amount of time. And the scenes weren't filmed in order. So
Mhm.
I started out with like one of the random scenes in the middle, and I ended with like they were just all filmed in different orders. So that was kind of fun to do.
What was your favorite scene to film?
That's a good question. I loved all of them, but I really loved filming in the nightclub because it was super fun to like be in the middle of everybody, like the spotlight, and I had a lot of fun in the DJ stand. I got to play around in there when we weren't filming, and I felt so cool in a nightclub because little 10-year-old me had never been in one of those
Yeah.
before, so that was so fun to film.
It was a great scene. Again, I loved each time you would just pop up. And again, same thing, the facial expressions, it was just so, oh gosh, it was, I praise this film a lot just because I think it really, um, it reminded me of old school horror from back in the 80s. Sometimes, I mean, the soundtrack was incredible, but yeah, that nightclub scene was just, it was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Um, Now I am kind of curious then, what was it, we'll talk spoilers, but what was it like though at the very end when you had to pick up Art's head? Because that was, I was just like, what?
Yeah, that was so fun to do. I felt really cool. The head was super heavy, actually. It does not it looks light, but it was pretty heavy, and it was so fun like making him like whisper in my ear. Really played around with that a lot. So I love filming that scene.
I love that. And obviously there's been so much talk, and I know they officially haven't said anything, but I would like to think that they're hopefully going to make a third one. And so I would love to know though, if they make a third one and you were to return, what would you want to see your character doing?
That's another good question. I think that Art and the little pale girl are such a good like duo. I think that Art needs to teach the little pale girl a little bit about the killing. Maybe she can assist him on
That's
that.
devious. I love that.
Yes, I would love to see her do that. I would love to see more of the little pale girl's backstory because there's a lot of different opinions on that. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm not even really sure the whole little pale girl backstory. So I think it would be pretty cool in the third movie if they kind of went back and told a little bit about her life before where she is now.
I think that would actually be kind of great because I agree. While I love this movie, there are just some unanswered questions, but I think that's what makes us yearn for another one. And I think that would be really cool to get that backstory. But I was not expecting you to say teach her. So that's really a then the other thing too, just with this experience, and I know this was filmed, prior to the pandemic, but now that it's finally out and you're just seeing all the reception, are you going to be, or have you already gotten to do any conventions or plan to do?
I plan to do a ton of conventions. My first one's in January,
Oh, that's
and I'm so
exciting.
excited to see all the fans because it makes me so happy seeing all the fan art and the cosplaying and even like the tattoos. I cannot believe it. There are tattoos of little pale girl's face on people's body. Like that's permanent. That is so crazy to me. So I love seeing all that, and I'll definitely love to see more of it at the conventions.
Again, like as you said, they are a great duo, and they're just in my eyes now they're iconic because again, the looks, the makeup, the outfits. I mean, it's just it's so amazing, and so yeah, the fan art's great, and I don't know if you've seen any reaction channels, but just seeing other people react to it. And one of my favorite things, somebody that really also enjoys the film, they're called Petty Pumpkins, and they referred to you as Artina, especially when you did the neck crack. I was like, oh, that's really funny. So I just had to tell you that because it was, I mean, everyone's living for your performance, but I just thought that was really hilarious that they had given you that name.
I think my new name should be Artina. That's so funny.
So, getting to do this horror film, does it make you want to do more horror? I know right now you've been guesting on, I think, General Hospital.
Yes.
And so do you want to kind of do a mixture, or do you want to get back and do like another horror picture?
It's honestly so funny about General Hospital. Like, we have this soap opera, and then we have this like brutal horror movie. So,
Yes.
I mean, I love doing both. They're both different in their own ways, and I'm open to doing anything. There's things I like about both, but I love doing horror. It's just so fun. So I'm definitely open to doing more horror.
I love that. I guess and I'm sure probably been asked this a bunch, but what kind of got you into acting?
My friend was an actress about 3 years ago, and she really inspired me. And so then she started coaching me, and her mom started coaching me, and then I got an agent, and then I just started auditioning from things, and I went on from there.
That's great. I mean, it takes a lot to be able to do that. Also put yourself out there. I guess what I'd like to know is like, what do you want to do next, just in general, now that you kind of have this, elevated platform in a sense?
Honestly, like I said, I'm open to anything. Whatever comes to me, I will be willing to do. That's kind of the fun part about acting, is you never really know what's going to come next. You kind of just got to keep auditioning, living in the moment, and, just wait until things come. So, yeah, like I said, I'm open to anything.
I love that. Then I guess really I'm curious then, this past year, horror the genre itself has really exploded. And I know sometimes we always will say, oh, this year's been the best. But I mean, in terms of just independent cinema or big budget, there's just been a lot. And so what I'd love to know is, over the past year, what in horror has just been super exciting to see? Like, has there been a trend, talent in front of or behind the camera, or themes that you're just seeing throughout the genre that you just were really excited for?
Honestly, I don't watch a lot of horror. I'm not big on that genre, but, just seeing Terrifier 2 and like the anticipation of it. And I love seeing like everybody guessing on, what the movie is going to be about. Cause I knew stuff that they didn't. And that was kind of fun to see, where they thought the movie would go. And then, when the movie came out, the reactions to that.
I think what was, and kudos to Damian too, in the fact that who puts out in theaters, almost a 2.5 hour unrated horror film, and it be this monster of a success.
Exactly. I totally agree with you on that. It's crazy. 2.5 hours.
And it was all word of mouth, which is even better. I think there's nothing better than just the fans or people who saw it and were just like, this was, oh my gosh. I mean, I saw it in theaters, and I chuckled as I walked in, and there was a mother with her 2 kids, and they didn't look more than maybe like 10 or 11. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see how this plays out. And that bedroom scene came up, and I just heard the mom yell, "Oh, hell no, we're not doing this." I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
She didn't know what she was getting in for.
That's the reactions that I just love to see. Stuff like that just cracks me up.
It just brought so much life in general, just seeing everybody's reaction. So I love hearing that you really enjoyed that, because that's one of my favorite things to see about this movie, how people, when they're watching it, how they just, it goes to so different places, but then it's got, everybody is just firing on all cylinders. I think, Lauren did great, and Casey and Elliott, and obviously David, who I think is just a master of his craft doing that. And then I have to ask too, what was it like then behind the scenes as well? Were there any moments that you really, any antics or things that you just like really enjoyed while you're watching the movie be made?
Well, behind the scenes, it's such a brutal, like, horror movie, but behind the scenes, everyone's just like laughing, making jokes. There were so many inside jokes and memories that were made, and the one that sticks out to me is when the scene where Art the Clown smears the mashed potatoes on the mom's face. It was a cold and rainy day in like upstate New York, and I was really craving something nice and warm, so I went over to like the snack stand, and I saw these mashed potatoes. I really, really wanted them. I was craving them. My mom made me them. I ate them up, and then Damian comes in. He's like, "Where are the props, guys? Where are the props? We need the props. We need the mashed potatoes." And me and my mom just look at each other, and we realized that I ate the props. So I had to go out and get more. But just stuff like that, there's just so many fun memories made. I ate the props, but Damien was nice about it. He was sweet. But just funny stuff like that.
That's amazing. And, I have to say we were thankful enough to get to speak with the family, or basically Damian, Lauren, Sarah, and Elliott, and they were just all incredible. And Damian gives nothing but praise to everybody involved. I mean, this was a labor of love in a sense. So, but that's that scene alone is one of my favorites, just because Art in the apron, and then when Jonathan comes in, and again, so much fun. I guess then with my final question, honestly, having seen Terrifier 2 a couple times and the audience reactions, and what you want to see for your character, what would you in general want to see for Art in the third one as well?
I loved, especially in the second movie, I loved how humorous he was. Like, even when he's like getting ready to do this big old kill, he's like laughing about it. I love the scene where he had all the sunglasses on. He's playing around with those. So in the third movie, I just want to see more of Art's humor and what he can do with that, because that's really what just made me crack up while watching, was just how funny this movie was, despite how bad it is.
Brutal. Yeah.
Just the way he has all this humor, and I think David does such a good job of incorporating that. That's what I'd love to see with Art, is just more of that just funny humor.
I mean, that photo with those glasses, I mean, it was so many memes, but it truly is. That whole sequence is probably one of the funniest things. And when he spits out the kazoo, I was dying. That was really good. Well, Amelie, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to speak with me. It's been such a pleasure. And honestly, the movie was fantastic, and I can't wait to see where you go next.
Thank you so much. I love being able to talk to you too. I hope we speak again.
If you're ever in horror again, and I'm hoping to, I'm praying, I am manifesting a Terrifier 3 that's like 3 hours long. Maybe that's just me, but I want to see more because I think that's just, again, it was an incredible duo. And I think that's great that you're going to be able to go to the conventions and start to see people, because the cosplaying and again, yeah, the tattoos, that also cracks me up. I'm not a tattoo person, so I'm like, that's commitment.
I know, right?
But again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
You have been listening to the Horror Hour. See you next time.